Hello, everybody out there in YouTube. We are the Middle Aged Guys, and we're going to continue talking about one of our favorite gaming companies in all the world, Nintendo, and actually touch on maybe a little bit of sore nerve that has popped up over the last few days. Before we get into that, let's just get the introductions out of the way. I'm the Reverend.
15 here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
All right. On May 8th, 2018, Nintendo went ahead and they came out and they did the full press release, and they fully announced and set up their website, which we'll have a link to down below and everything, about the Nintendo Switch online service. All right. Where they went ahead and they said, okay, these are the features, these are the prices, this is the things that you get with it, and people had mixed reactions. All right. One of the things that a lot of people have been asking for or have been wondering about when it comes to this particular device, because it's been available on many of the previous other consoles, is the Switch going to have access to the Virtual Console? All right. Yeah, we know you can go ahead and you can get shit on the eShop. Guess what? All right. You could be running Linux and you can get shit on the eShop. All right. So it's not a big fucking surprise. But what a lot of people were interested about was, hey, is there going to be a Virtual Console? Because the thing about it was that, I will admit, up until a few weeks ago, I did not exactly know how big the Virtual Console actually was. For instance, right now, on the Virtual Console, I think for the Wii U, they host, like, let's see here, the option, to buy or have access to up to like 140 NES titles or Famicom titles. Master System is on there. The Turbo Graphics or PC Engine is on there. It hosts almost 120 titles altogether that people can get a hold of. In Japan, if you got a Wii U in Japan and you're on Virtual Console, you can pick up MSX games. I think they have like 13, around a dozen games for the MSX. And the big difference over here in the States and also in other PAL regions is that we have access to Commodore 64 games. And I think it's around a dozen titles also.
Mm-hmm.
So they literally cover a lot of things from, 8-bit systems, 8-bit, even 8-bit home computing systems like the Commodore 64 and the MSX, all the way through 16-bit with the Mega Drive or the Genesis, Super NES, Super Famicom, Neo Geo, AES titles. They have right now, they're hosting somewhere upwards around 75 fucking titles on there for Virtual Console. And if you're on the Wii U, you have access to Nintendo 64 titles, which is like, I think they have like 20 of them up there right now. But all the way throughout, whether or not you're on the, I think the, if you're on the home consoles, whether it be Wii or Wii U, you also have access to upwards of around 80 arcade games, arcade perfect emulated games that are available from Virtual Console. I'm talking about stuff like, let's see here, Black Tiger, other popular arcade games, full arcade games like that. So overall, right now, I think they're hosting around 700 digital titles available on the Virtual Console, and for a lot of people, especially over the last decade, this is the first time a lot of people may have been introduced to something like, certain classic NES games, certain classic games on the Turbo Graphics, certain classic games on the Sega Genesis. All right, and if they've kept along with Nintendo, they've kept along with the business. Maybe they want to go ahead and have the option to play those things on the new system, on the go, portably, as what's advertised with this thing. All right. But it was revealed out when Kotaku was asking Nintendo directly. Their response about whether or not there would be a Virtual Console is, and I quote, "There are currently no plans to bring classic games together under the Virtual Console banner, as has been done on other Nintendo systems." All right. So, as we know it, especially considering that I believe sometime in 2019, the shop channels are going to go dead on the previous home consoles, like the Wii and the Wii U. I know that they're definitely supporting the 3DS at least up until like the end of 2019. because they have games that are announced up until that point. After 2019, once that shop channel goes away, there is literally no access to Virtual Console or the Virtual Console titles for anybody who doesn't have those games already purchased, downloaded, and backed up available on the local storage device. All right, which consequently doesn't have a lot of Switch owners happy. All right, and I would have to say that as somebody who may have other ways to go ahead and access those particular titles, I think it's kind of shitty that we wouldn't have access to that sort of thing, especially considering that it wouldn't take a lot to actually bring it up to go ahead and actually run on the Switch, because each one of the titles is set to run as its own self-contained emulator and game package altogether. So I don't know, guys. What are your thoughts on this? This is really kind of rough.
I mean, I didn't really partake into the Virtual Console, so I'm not really feeling any consequence of this. But yeah, it sucks that it's going to be going away and it's not going to be going to the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo's fast-selling, successful console. That's the part I really don't. They say, at least for now, they say for now they don't have any plans. Is that subject to change? Yeah. Especially if motherfuckers get on their knees and Boyz II Men / Jodeci for it. But it really sucks that they're not carrying on like that. Gray Mouse, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, it kind of sucks that Nintendo wants to sunset the Virtual Console. It really is. But if they move that to the eShop, then I wouldn't really have any problems with it. If they figure out, they move. But what was the whole point? I don't understand. This is another one of those head scratchers with Nintendo. I could only imagine maybe it's not profitable for the Virtual Console, but I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, think
that's
actually.
What I'm saying. So it just doesn't. No, I was just going through what might cause them to sunset something that makes them money. I mean, yeah, some of the titles. I mean. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I went ahead and I've actually spent quite a little bit of time over the last few days watching other YouTube content creators and reading articles online about what people have been thinking about this and how they've been reacting to this. All right, and there are a few things that I don't think the majority of the creators and the majority of the people who are writing these articles have failed to go ahead and point out. All right, one of the things that I think that we got to go ahead and kind of think about this is that their exact verbiage is that there are currently no plans to bring classic games together under the Virtual Console banner. So they may be doing something else under a different name. All right, if you remember, and I think we did a video on this. I could be wrong. But right behind the theme, he's got a Super NES Classic right there, okay? Nintendo applied for a whole set of brand new trademarks under the Classic brand, which I believe covered NES, Super NES, all the way up until Nintendo 64. I don't know if it included any of the portable game systems, but yeah, there's a whole brand new brand of stuff that Nintendo wants to go ahead either brand or market out under the Classics label. All right. So that may be a new label that they're going to use for whatever ends up on the Switch. Okay. That's one thing I got to say. All right. The other thing that I got to say is that remember when we were talking about the games that we'd like to see on, the Super Nintendo Classic system and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There were certain games that we thought were complete oversight emissions and stuff like that. But one of the things that we came to a realization was that maybe it wasn't realistic to go ahead and expect those particular games because of licensing issues with third-party publishers, okay? Here's one thing I got to say about the Virtual Console, all right, is that it made Nintendo on the Wii and the Wii U a lot of money because literally the only thing they had to go ahead and do is they sat there and they were like, all right, we're going to set this up so that it's a standalone thing and that when it's it's handed over to us. It'll be a standalone package of the ROM and the emulator all together, and then we can go ahead and it'll just launch and it'll run on the Wii or the Wii U, right? Here's the thing. With direct digital services, all right, being all the rage, and subscription services being all the rage nowadays, all right, what's to say if any of those third-party publishers said, hey, look, Nintendo made a shitload of money on this. Why don't we just go ahead and make these available directly, digitally ourselves?
Right.
In that case, we don't have to worry about Nintendo taking their cut from whatever virtual console or eShop or whatever the fuck they have out there. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and offer it ourselves, like Ubisoft does with Uplay, or EA with EA Access, or Blizzard with Battle.net, or anything else. You know, I mean, that's one thing I have not seen mentioned at all from a lot of content creators or any of the people who are writing these articles, is that it's really, really possible, you know, especially when you're talking about, the huge number of games that are on other fucking consoles, all right, that those particular manufacturers, if Sega sits there and says, hey, look, we can go ahead and we can market this shit, you know, all these fucking games ourselves, whether or not it be for the Game Gear, the Sega Master System, or the Genesis, all right, and we can go ahead and even knock off $1 on the price when that was available on the virtual console, we're still going to be making or turning a bigger profit. You know, it's quite possible that Nintendo isn't seeing the same cooperation from third-party developers and publishers that they did the first time when they put together the virtual console, and all of those particular classic titles and classic library titles were completely dormant and people weren't honestly interested in them.
Yeah.
All right. Because let's just face it, all right, a whole decade of having that service available, all right, kind of training people to just go ahead and appreciate that. Now the interest is there, all right? Before a decade ago, I can guarantee you a lot of people who are saying, oh, yeah, you know, a lot of newer gamers, a lot of casual gamers who are like, oh, yeah, you know, I like playing, you know, Bloody Wolf or you know, Keith Courage and Alpha Zones or Blazing Aces for the TurboGrafx 16. All right. If they aren't my fucking age, I know for sure they didn't play that on the fucking actual console as a kid. They did that over the last 10 years through fucking virtual console. All right. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense that, yeah, Nintendo isn't willing to go ahead and bring that brand forward, but they might be running into other issues that people don't directly see right now. That's going to keep them from being able to do that with the same library that they were able to go ahead and offer before.
Or as you said, maybe they're planning on something else.
Yeah. You know,
because they said, if you carefully read that, they say at this time, they didn't just flat out say, no, we're not doing that. We're not ever going to do that. And you have to take that with a fucking grain of salt too, because if there's capabilities to do that shit, then they can easily just implement it at any given moment's notice. Who knows? Maybe this E3, they'll announce something.
Yeah.
They'll announce something new, or a replacement for the virtual console. Maybe they're going to call it something different. Maybe you're going to have to pay a fucking subscription in order to fucking do it. Maybe it'll be like PS Now. Maybe it'll be like something like that where you'll pay Nintendo like a certain subscription and you'll have a whole bunch of lineup of games from NEC, aka TurboGrafx 16, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, the Sega titles, freaking certain arcade titles and stuff like that. I would not put it past them to fucking do that. And if you fucking Nintendo, if you fucking somehow get a Sega Saturn emulator on your fucking Nintendo Switch, that's going to kill it. That's going to murder. Just look, anybody that gets a working Sega Saturn emulator on their shit with a whole bunch of Sega Saturn titles that either didn't come here or were very obscure here that motherfuckers want to play and motherfuckers want to see again and so on and so forth, you are going to kill the competition if you have that. That's just my initial thoughts about that. Because the Nintendo Switch would be for all of that shit that I just named.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. What about you, Grey Boss? What are your quick and dirty thoughts on it?
Pretty much the same as what y'all said. I mean, Nintendo does what Nintendo does. Who knows what the hell they're thinking?
I thought Nintendo don't.
But no, that was a long time ago. That was the true console wars.
Right.
But anyway, no. It's really sad to see. It's really sad. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's really sad to see something that's been liked for over a decade, throughout various systems, just come to an abrupt end. But it also could mean, everybody wants to immediately go to the loom and doom. It's not necessarily. They're saying that they don't have any. Like I said, they don't have any plans for anything. But as far as we know, we don't know. It might be a different iteration. We don't know. We could hope for the best and stand by for the worst, I guess.
I mean, sorry to interrupt you, Gray Mouse, but who'd have thought that you would never see, or that you wouldn't see certain titles from Sony or even Microsoft? You have PS Now. Of course, you have fucking remasters and stuff like that, but you have backwards compatibility. At least that's what Microsoft is doing for a lot of the original Xbox titles and things like that. So I wouldn't count Nintendo out just yet.
The whole backwards compatibility thing is big, and it's been big for the last five years. Ever since
it's been big ever since PlayStation 1.
That's what I'm saying. People want to play their old games on their new system. I don't quite understand that.
Nuh-uh.
But
I kept my old shit. Hey, special advice: keep your old shit, and you don't have to do that.
Exactly, and that's what kills me. I mean, like, people want to play their old stuff on their new systems, and I mean, I understand you have nostalgic, but I rather anyway. That we're getting to something else. Mm-hmm. But the virtual console, it's sad that they're sunsetting it, but maybe they're sunsetting it for the better, to where they're going to come out with something that can offer more titles, more games, more, options. Again, we just don't know at this particular point. Nintendo's tight-lipped, like they mostly are, and E3's coming up, so.
I think with this, again, when the things that I went ahead and I pointed out that the fact that they applied for new trademarks for a lot of shit concerning their classic consoles. All right. Again, that's a brand new banner, brand new brand name that that Nintendo could go ahead and market the shit out of. That they went out of their way they to do a new trademark for. All right. And the thing is that a lot of stuff that Nintendo does, they just be marketing it for the trademarking it. All right. But a lot of stuff usually ends up in a working form with Nintendo, or whenever we see stuff like that. The thing about it, though, is that, let us be honest, okay? They make way too much fucking money not to go out of their way and be able to sell digital copies of classic games that they have in their library. Okay? They're gonna keep on pushing that.
You just max headroom.
Oh, sorry.
Because you
completely stopped. And me and Gray Mouse are like, what's going on? Did they,
We heard we had audio.
Oh, no, we had audio, but you didn't max headroom, but you just, stopped. Okay, and we're like.
My point still stands, though, is that my point still stands that Nintendo makes too much money not to go ahead and completely give up on the idea of stopping distributing this shit.
Yeah, but that's the part that none of us understands. It's like, wait, this was successful. This is not like, wait, you're canceling. Okay, the Wii U you moved on from, but the feature on the Wii U that was successful, you're gonna kill that too. I don't understand that.
Well, no, it's been, and the thing it's been across multiple platforms.
Well, I know with the 3DS and with the 3DS and with the Wii U and with the Wii even. So
I think the DS. I think on the DS, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't on the DS initially. All right. Yeah, it was on definitely Wii U, and 3DS. All right, so it was all there. Yeah. But the thing is that in order for them to go ahead and be able to sit there and say, all right, we're going to go ahead and offer something like this with the same library, unfortunately, that's not completely up to them. All right.
Right.
Because those publishers still have control over those various IPs and those various game titles and other shit. So, which, like I said, just like the fact that DC is coming out with a DC Direct fucking digital service, I would not be surprised if Capcom, Konami, and all the other stuff that they start going ahead and putting out, okay, digital classics or digital classic bundles on stuff for like fucking Steam or on iPhone or mobile or other shit. It just makes sense for them to go ahead and do that. All right.
I just thought of something when you just said that.
Cap console.
I just thought of something that I don't think it's the third party guys trying to force Nintendo's hand on the virtual console, because I mean they got enough like what the theme always says, enough power, enough weapons on as first party that they could continue the virtual console into the next fucking decade. So I don't think it's the third party that's trying to like, no, I'm tired of paying the Nintendo tax to put my game onto the virtual console. I don't think it's that. I think Nintendo is actually, maybe
it may not.
Huh?
It may not be that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it is.
You could be right, but who's to say that those third-party companies are like, we can just do this shit ourselves? That's
what I'm saying. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, I don't think. I mean, they're like, screw the Nintendo tax. We're going to do this ourselves. We're going to do it ourselves.
Or like I said, Nintendo could be coming up with
something better.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is that right now, what that is, I don't know. Okay, I really I would really actually appreciate them to go ahead and figure out.
It's a head scratcher.
So I'd rather them go out of their way and spend more of their energy, like you said, Grey Mouse, figuring out how the fuck they can go ahead and get this goddamn voice chat working, consistently through their fucking hardware. Okay, really. All right, it's not like they're not going to make a shitload of money off the fucking games that are on multiplayer, because they are. Okay, and guess what? At $20 a fucking year, people are gonna fucking buy it. They're not even gonna think about the price of the fucking service. I'd rather
a shitty online service to play great games on.
But the thing is, at the price point, people aren't gonna think about it, because $20 is rather disposable.
Rather 60, disposable compared to 60. Yeah.
But when it comes to all this other stuff with like the virtual console and everything else, I understand times change, brands change, and everything else. All right, maybe it'll be something like the fucking McRib. It'll come back every year for a little while. Okay, and people will be happy. All right, if people go ahead and buy into that bullshit. Okay, maybe
like I said, maybe they'll rename it something else, like Nintendo Experience or Nintenergy, whatever they're gonna do. They watch they come. Well, hey, wait, come on now. They could come out with a stupid name. People will bypass that shit in 6 months in order to fucking get the shit.
You said the Surgery, and all I could think is that damn gym, Synergy and shit, man. Like, come on, man.
The cartoon, right? Not the live action.
Yeah, the cartoon, the 80s cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah, but in any case, all right. Like I said, I think what's up is that people are going to see on the eShop, whether it be for the Switch or the 3DS or anything else, there's going to be a new thing dedicated to Nintendo classics. That's probably going to show up. Okay, I'm almost willing to bet money on that. Okay, I'm almost willing to bet money on that. But I'm pretty sure that that's going to show up, if not in the near future, sometime soon. All right.
It's just too popular not to show up.
Especially considering we know the Nintendo 64 fucking classic system is going to come out. They'd be stupid not to go ahead and put that out. Shit. And the way things are going, it's going to go ahead. It's only going to have like 12 games, and they're going to charge you like $80 for it. Dude. All right. Seriously.
The controller is going to be twice as big as the fucking device.
As the actual fucking box, yeah.
They're going to put Castlevania 64 on there.
No. And how many controllers is it going to come with? 1 or 4?
Anyway, let's close this out.
Please.
But we already know that's going to happen. All right. But for all the pontification and everything else, folks, that's pretty much where Nintendo is at officially with the Virtual Console. And that's our thoughts as middle-aged guys. What we really want to know, like always, is what are your thoughts on, okay, is what Nintendo offered up to the folks at Kotaku and to the world at large, is it bullshit? Is this a tragedy? Is this a loss? You can go ahead and let us know by leaving us your comment below. All right. While you're at it, if you really like this video, we appreciate the like. If you didn't like it, you could hit dislike. Guess what? We'll put out another one, next week, a few days from now. We'll try again, okay? Insert another coin night. Exactly. And if you're really interested in following along with what we go ahead and put out on a regular basis, I do suggest that you go ahead and subscribe. And also, I'm doing the max headroom thing to you guys. I'll be fine on my video. So fuck all y'all. Okay. And also, you can go ahead and turn on those notifications, and you'll know whenever we put out brand new videos, whether individually or all together. All right.
Oh, that said, you got the max headroom going.
All of that bullshit about the Virtual Console and it not being around anymore ends right here. I'm the Reverend.
The theme here.
Combo breaker? What? Combo breaker.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense, logic, and gaming, damn Nintendo, come up with something else. Don't just totally eliminate this shit altogether. That'll be just way disappointing. Oh, but don't come back with it and charge an arm and a leg for it. Fuck that. Credits.